Hello everybody, so I'm back with my next video. This video would be all about the changes which is there in this RHCE version 7 program. Before I proceed ahead technically, this would be more of a more technical ride, you know. My RHCSA previous video definitely had the discussion technically, but then RHCE is more in depth. Okay, so this is going to be more of a technical ride. So are you ready? And so here we go. On my website, which is training, RedHat certifications, RedHat certified engineer. We move down. Yes, what's new in RHCE version 7? Oh, again, it seems to be a long list. Should I start with this? What's this? Network port security. Okay, before I proceed ahead, I would definitely like to share few of my personal experiences and expectations. You know, because when we are working in the real working environment, when we are trying to implement some things, we feel like, you know, this should have been there and that should have been there. So basically Linux world works in the real world of production and also our official Cisco partners. So as per the requirements, we need to have a lab, okay, a complete setup of lab wherein we have n number of routers, n number of switches and various other products as in your firewall and XYZ. And can you think of this, you know, such a huge setup? Obviously it would definitely require huge space and definitely in monetary terms huge amount of investment also. When I was doing this, when I was implementing the same and was working on it, at the back end of my mind I was always wondering and was dreaming, you know, I wish there was something in open source, you know, which is basically kind of an SDN support, which is software defined network support, wherein I don't require such kind of a hardware. All the nitty gritty, you know, approximately, not exactly, but yeah, approximately similar kind of a setup without the requirement of this hardware can be performed. And I was surprised and was obviously happy at the moment also when I saw the changes in version 7 on RHCE program. The first thing which I noticed was network port security, and I was happy that yes, what I was dreaming about is something which is coming true. The second one, the most important thing, which is link aggregation. What's this? Let me explain you in a layman language. Okay, in a company, generally we have internet connections with you know 2-3 internet connections which are routed through a router. And what's the duty of a router is to balance the load. That is load balancing. What happens is like we don't feel the same, but that is what the router does. If any of the internet connection is down, okay, still you won't feel it. You would feel that everything is up, the entire connectivity is up. This is with the help of link aggregation, and the same is there now in RHCE version 7. That's called as link aggregation by TMD command and bridging. I move ahead. Okay, what's the next one, which is IPv6 networking. Oh, everybody was waiting for this. IPv6 was definitely expected in the revised program because that's the need of the day, okay, in the world of networking. So it was expected in this program. The next is RHCSA initiator. What's this? Okay, previously on version 6 we had the RHCSA client side, okay, and definitely when I was teaching, when I was imparting, I was always under that impression, you know, ki RHCSA client side is there. How about the server side? It was always there in the market, but then was never there in the program. Now it is there in the program, and over and about, to make it much easier, there is we do this with the help of target CLI. You know, this is the kind of a software, it's a kind of a command which helps you in doing this. The next is DNS real world shooting, troubleshooting and caching. Okay, again, I would love to explain this in a layman language. There are two concepts. One thing is, in the program you definitely learn what is DNS server, how do you configure the server and everything, but then when you actually get into the real working environment, there are either of the two scenarios. One is the DNS is already implemented, okay, so what do? What you have to be an expertise is in the troubleshooting part. So now that is there in this program, that's there now in RHCE version 7. And talking about the second scenario, with small companies specifically, when this concept is called as, DNS caching. What happens is, like, when the computers are called as, the clienteles, you send a request to your DNS server, which is called as a DNS caching. You feel like you're sending the request. It's kind of a DNS caching which happens, and they send it to the respective ISP or somewhere else, so it is routed through a DNS server, wherein the actual DNS server is not there in the company. So how do you do this? What is the working all about, and how do you implement this? That's with the help of this, which is called as caching name server by Unbound. Okay, next we proceed ahead, providing NFS storage by Kerberized security. Interesting. Everybody is using NFS, everybody is sharing the files over network. Have you ever thought about it, that how secured is our data? We are sharing it, but are we safe? You won't be surprised. A small hacking technique which is called as sniffing, and there we sniff your data. It's so simple. So now the concept already existed, but now it has come down at the RHCE level, which is Kerberized, the world's most secure thing, and now it is done with the help of that called as Kerberized NFS. The next is SMB file servers. Okay, when you are sharing a file, what happens is, like, say we have a folder and we give this access of the folder to multi-users. Now every user has a different purpose to access this folder, and obviously only that limited purpose should be given to that respective user. Say one should have the kind of a permission to only read, the other one to write, and all these things. So this is basically what it is, a multi-user SMB mount, which has been now inculcated in this program. We proceed ahead, which is Apache HTTPD Web Server Management. What's this? Everybody is sharing your data over internet through Gmail and all. Again, the point comes as security. We have been using HTTP protocol, but the secured protocol which exists is HTTPS. I'm sure everybody would have heard about it. The solution is HTTPS. It means basically TLS enabled web server that we get in this Apache HTTPD web server management with the TLS enabled. The next is integrating the dynamic web application and content. Today in this world, everybody needs a perfect integration or interface between web server and the web application, which is being provided with the help of WSGI, which is called as Web Server Gateway Interface. Next, which is MariaDB SQL database. Seems to be interesting. The name itself seems to be interesting. What's this? Okay, I have always heard about MySQL database, MySQL database. What's this now? MariaDB? Okay. MySQL in its own way is perfect, but then when you have huge amount of data, it goes a bit slow. So the owner himself, who had come up with this concept of MySQL DB, has come up with a new concept of MariaDB. You would be wondering, why Maria? The name seems to be very interesting. Don't be surprised. Maria is his daughter's name. So he planned to keep his DB's name by MariaDB, and it is more for a huge amount of data. What's next? Which is postfix SMTP null clients, bash scripting for automation, which is definitely required for any Linux administrator. Basically, this is a basic bash shell scripting for the automation purpose. The next is Linux containers and Dockers. What's this? Okay, again, back to the layman's language. This entire world is working on virtualization. I'm very sure everybody would have felt the need of virtualization. Example, if I'm having a machine, okay, and I want to test on various platforms, so what I do is, like, I pick up any virtual software, say anything, VirtualBox or something, I install that, and on that I run 10 number of other platforms, virtual machines. I understand when you do one, when you do two, the performance doesn't affect that much. But then once you start increasing the numbers, definitely the performance is going to be affected. And very sure few results wouldn't come out, few results would come out late and all those things. But then definitely in the near future, you would like to work on 10 machines at the same time. So this thing has been come up with what's called as Linux containers, okay? And the plugin which helps you in doing this is called as a Docker. the last but not the least, advanced networking and dynamic role, which is based by firewall deconfiguration. Again, it is very important in today's industry to know what this is, and basically this is meant for the security guys. Okay, lot much more to discuss in detail, but then span of time, and you would definitely like to know more about it. So you need to wait for my next video for the upcoming things, changes in this entire program. Again, technically, what Linux World had to offer for this as an updation training program. Why should I do this program from Linux World? Will I get something different? And the person who's going to train me, is he authorized or not? So many questions will be definitely running at the back end of your mind, which will definitely be covered in my next video. So stay tuned for my next video. Bye bye, take care, have a good day.